Welcome to Military Power TV. Today we go back to the crucible of the Eastern Front to tell the story of a weapon that helped tip the balance in close combat, the PPSH-41, the Soviet submachine gun that became a symbol of mass firepower during World War II. Known by soldiers as Papa, this simple, ruthless firearm combined cheap production, staggering volume of fire, and surprising engineering ingenuity. In this video, we'll explore how it was born, why it was so effective, how it was made, and the many variants that followed. The story of the PPSH-41 begins with a lesson learned the hard way. During the Winter War of 1939-1940, Finnish troops armed with the Suomi KP-31, a superb submachine gun, inflicted heavy casualties on Red Army units attacking in forest and urban terrain. The Soviets realized they needed a comparable weapon, reliable, compact, automatic, and easy to produce in huge numbers. Earlier Soviet attempts, like the PPD series, PPD-34, PPD-38-38, and PPD-40 were decent designs but expensive and slow to manufacture because they relied heavily on machined parts. In 1940, Georgy S. Shpagin, an engineer working under intense wartime pressure, set out to create a design that could be mass-produced quickly and cheaply without losing battlefield effectiveness. The result was the PPSH-41. Shpagin's genius was pragmatic. Instead of machined steel receivers, he used stamped steel, an approach not yet common in Soviet arms production. Stamping allowed faster production using less skilled labor and simpler tooling. The stamped receiver and fewer precision parts cut manufacturing time and cost dramatically. In a classic example of wartime improvisation, factories even converted half a Mosin-Nagant rifle barrel into 2 PPSH barrels, a clever reuse that saved material and speeded production. The PPSH also used a ventilated barrel shroud that acted as a basic muzzle compensator, improving controllability during full auto fire, an important factor when a soldier needed to spray rounds from close range. Mechanically, the PPSH operated on simple blowback, firing the high-velocity 7.62 by 25mm Tokarev round. It was robust, reliable in cold and mud, and tolerant of poor maintenance, qualities Soviet forces desperately needed on the Eastern Front. The PPSH is famous for its distinctive drum magazine, a 71-round pan that gave the gun incredible short-range firepower. Early production used these drums almost exclusively. Later, as supply and doctrine shifted, box magazines of 35 rounds were more common because they were lighter and easier to produce and handle. When wielded by trained crews, the PPSH could lay down a devastating volume of fire. That torrent of lead made it ideal for house-to-house fighting, urban street battles, and close assaults against trenches, exactly the scenarios that dominated the Eastern Front. Mass production of the PPSH-41 accelerated rapidly after November 1941. In the first 6 months, factories turned out roughly 160,000 units. By mid-1942, production reached an estimated 3,100 guns per day. This scale of manufacturing mattered. When entire infantry squads carried automatic weapons, Soviet forces could overwhelm German positions with concentrated short-range firepower. Soviet soldiers affectionately called the gun Papa, a testament to how common and trusted it became. Its psychological impact was significant too. The distinctive bark of a PPSH drum magazine firing was a sound that often indicated imminent close combat. Commanders adapted tactics to exploit the PPSH's strengths. Assaults into buildings, seizing trenches, and fast room-clearing operations all favored the weapon. In one unusual wartime experiment, the Soviets mounted dozens of PPSHs in bomber aircraft for a short time to create anti-ground strafing barrages. a concept abandoned for logistical reasons, but it illustrates the Soviet appetite for brute force solutions. The PPSH's speed of production and ease of use meant it spread quickly, not only across Soviet units, but also to resistance fighters, Allied forces, and even enemy arsenals via capture. Let's break the action down simply. When the shooter pulls the trigger, the bolt carrier moves forward, strips a round from the magazine into the chamber, and the firing pin detonates the primer. The gas impulse and recoil drive the bolt rearward, ejecting the spent casing and compressing the recoil spring. On its return, the bolt chambers the next round. Simple blowback operation plus a heavy bolt allowed reliable cycling with the high-pressure Tokarev cartridge. The advanced use of stamped components and helical receiver grooves helped eject debris and maintain function under harsh conditions. That simplicity is what made the PPSH both deadly and easy to produce. After the war, the PPSH-41 didn't disappear, it evolved and spread. Several notable variants and foreign derivatives include PPSH-42 adaptations that used 35-round box magazines for easier handling and logistics. PPSH-45 prototype with a folding stock aimed at paratrooper and mechanized use. Chinese Type 50 and Type 49 variants. China produced versions that accepted either box magazines or drum magazines depending on model. North Korea's Type 49, made to use drum magazines. Yugoslavia M49, externally modified but mechanically similar. German MP41R/MP717R, captured PPSHs converted or used by Germany. Some were rechambered for 9x19 or 7.63x25 ammo. K-50M from Vietnam, a post-war modification featuring a retractable stock and shortened barrel used in irregular forces. Modern recreations like Croatia's Shpagin, which updated the external profile while retaining internal mechanics. Some countries produced semi-automatic civilian or police versions post-war. The PPSH's simple internals made it a favorite for licensed production and local modification across continents. The PPSH had a number of strengths: extremely high short-range firepower, simple manufacture, durability in harsh conditions, and ease of training. But it also had limits. The drum magazine was heavy and bulkier than a box magazine. The Tokarev round, while high velocity, lacked the intermediate cartridge characteristics that later assault rifles offered. And at longer ranges, the submachine gun was obviously inferior to rifles. Still, in the close quarters and mass assaults that defined much of the fighting on the Eastern Front, those disadvantages were often irrelevant. The PPSH-41 left a lasting imprint on small arms history. Over 6 million were produced in Soviet factories during and after the war, and its silhouette became a Cold War icon. It influenced tactics, armaments policy, and factory engineering practices in many countries. It also cemented the idea that cheap, rugged, mass-produced weapons could decisively shape large industrial wars. Thanks for watching this deep dive into the legendary PPSH-41. If you enjoyed this look at a weapon that changed infantry combat, hit like, subscribe to Military Power TV, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss our next episode on military technology and history. Drop a comment, which World War II weapon do you want us to analyze next? See you in the next video.
Say the word, talk to the man instead of. Say the word, talk to the man instead of.